Kmart has irresistible gifts.
Uncle Harry will love this.
Like the Polaroid 600 LMS camera. It has a low Kmart price and a $5 manufacturer rebate.
What a great camera.
Plus a $2 rebate on these Polaroid color films. So come to Kmart and make someone happy.
Actually, Uncle Harry has always admired this paperweight. Yep.
Hello and welcome to another edition of TOC Extra. I'm your host Azriel Knight, and last year I told you about how Kodak systematically ruined Christmas. This holiday season I would like to talk about Polaroid. Just like Kodak, Polaroid was a staple during the season of giving, and long before the digital camera, a Polaroid was the only way to an instant photo. No waiting for your local drugstore to develop the film to see if Uncle Frank really had his thumb over the lens. Nope, just snap. Check to make sure it looks good. If it doesn't, try again right there. Polaroid knew how crucial it was to get it right while everyone was together, because it might be a whole year before they were all in the same room again. No Zoom chats to tide people over, and you couldn't tag grandma on Instagram. But was Polaroid really the saving grace they claimed to be in their advertising? I took a deep dive into nostalgia once again, and while I complained last year about being oversaturated with wholesomeness, for some strange reason this year I wholeheartedly welcomed it. Today we'll explore Polaroid commercials from the 1970s all the way through the 90s in an attempt to answer the question, did Polaroid really save Christmas? Our first commercial takes us back nearly half a century to 1972. In 1972, the Polaroid to buy was the Square Shooter 2, which took peel-apart film. Unlike the Polaroid film you might be familiar with, which ejects immediately and is self-contained, peel-apart film developed inside the camera and had the chemicals smushed in the middle of two parts. Essentially, you ended up with a negative and a positive, though most people tossed the negative. The big sell on this camera was that you could get one for only $24.95 US, which was about $150 by today's standards.
Let's take some more. Let's find the stuff they make happiness of, and then we'll pass around the pictures and share each other's love.
Polaroid 60-second color film. Get enough to last as long as the fun does. And by the way, the camera is only $24.95.
And then we'll pass around the pictures and share each other's love.
Here's another commercial giving us the same $24.95 promotion featuring actress Brenda Vaccaro.
When you give somebody a camera, remember, the real fun isn't the camera, it's the pictures. And pictures of a good time aren't any fun until you see them. But pictures like this make the good time itself even better. And that's why Polaroid calls this the good time camera. It's only $24.95, strictly color, and it uses Polaroid's less expensive square film. So you can take enough pictures for everybody. That's another reason we call it the good time camera. You have some money left to have a good time.
Polaroid knew what they were doing. Buy someone a camera, open it on Christmas morning, and use up all that film taking photos of family.
This Christmas, get closer to someone you love.
Thinking about Mom? The kids want their grandpa.
With the camera that lets you get 3 times closer than any other instant camera. Polaroid's SX70 sonar.
Now even when the moment ends,
The Polaroid SX70 sonar.
you'll share the moment once again.
No other instant camera comes close.
The SX70 was Polaroid's crowning achievement. It was an amazing folding SLR that produced instant photos with no waste, unlike peel-apart film. And also, unlike many other Polaroids since, it had manual focus. Attempting to improve upon that idea, they released the Polaroid SX70 sonar, which used sound waves to create an ingenious autofocusing system. I'm sure there were many frustrated parents who had a hard time keeping their kids still while they racked the focusing back and forth, and this took care of that problem. Not the only camera to utilize sonar technology, here's a commercial promoting the Polaroid Sun 660.
Perhaps more than any other time of year, this is the season when millions of people discover Polaroid cameras do what no other kind of camera can do.
What's this? Thanks for the milk and cookies, and thanks for the beautiful Polaroid picture. Love, Santa.
Happy holidays from Polaroid.
A pretty smart idea to promote a camera quick enough to catch Santa in the act and in focus. Polaroid sun cameras were popular because the flash was built in, something of a novelty as many cameras still used single-use flash bulbs during this time. It was common practice to pick up a box of flash bulbs with your film. Between peel-apart film and one-time bulbs, this created a lot of waste. Flash bars and flash cubes somewhat reduced it by squeezing multiple bulbs into one unit, but the sun camera used a flash system integrated in the camera. In this case, the flash ran off the film's battery pack. You can see here in this commercial from the early 1980s, both the flash bar and the sun camera are promoted in the same commercial.
These are Polaroid's lowest price cameras. The One-Step 600, a great way to start taking instant pictures. It's so easy, you just point and shoot. It's only $24.95. But then why not start with a sun camera? It's just as easy, and you get a piece of the sun and a light mixer for great exposures. You never buy flash, and it's only $39.95. Both give you richer colors of our new 600-speed film in seconds. That's why Polaroid pictures make such a difference on Christmas. Look, I'd get this one.
Polaroid makes the difference.
In the late 1970s and early 1980s, the Polaroid 1000, also known as the One-Step in the US and Canada, was the economical answer to those who couldn't afford an SX70 but wanted to shoot SX70 film. It didn't have manual focus, didn't fold up, and was made from much cheaper parts. Several celebrities took on the mantle of Polaroid promoter. Let's take a look.
Polaroid's One-Step is the largest selling camera in the United States.
Oh, really? How many have they sold?
Well, millions, but counting this one.
They didn't sell that when they gave it to you.
I'm working it off. I tell everybody how simple it is. You just press a button, and the motor hands you the picture. In minutes, Polaroid's color is as bright as Christmas.
It's beautiful. So why do they need you?
Well, somebody has to tell people about it.
It's so obvious.
What's obvious?
What you said.
Give a One-Step.
Know what you're getting me for Christmas?
Yep.
Got a motor?
Yep.
Bucket seats?
No seats.
You stand up in it?
Nobody ever has.
Give me a hint.
Well, you press a button and it gives you a prize.
You got me a gumball machine.
It's a lot of fun for everybody. It's the simplest one in the world.
It's got a motor. You press a button. It's the simplest one in the world. You didn't.
It's a One-Step.
But you get those free.
James Garner I remember from The Notebook, and Marriott Hartley was the mom on Encino Man. This duo promoted several Polaroid cameras spanning years, and though the ads insinuated they were a couple, their relationship was strictly professional. That didn't stop the public from making a lot of speculation, to the point where Hartley was seen for a while wearing a t-shirt that read, "I am not Mrs. Garner." Here's another One-Step commercial with some familiar faces.
Merry Christmas, Fozzie!
Oh boy! What is it?
It's a birdhouse.
It's a One-Step, Fozzie.
Take a picture.
How?
Just point it and press the button. That's gonna be over his head.
Point it at what? At us. Ah, now what?
It is over his head. Press the button!
Hey, this is easy. I'm beautiful. Take more.
You see One-Step pictures along with the presents, and there's no simpler camera. No simpler bear.
Polaroid means fun.
With a One-Step.
The Muppets would aid in the promotion of a few Polaroid cameras, and the One-Step Time Zero was one of them, showing us how easy it was to use at the expense of questioning the intelligence of the much-loved Fozzie Bear. I happen to have a Polaroid One-Step and a One-Step Time Zero, and other than the paint job, I really can't tell the difference. The Time Zero name was more about the film, which developed in about a minute, a technology that's since been lost. These next set of commercials feature an entertainer I'm not actually familiar with, Marcel Marceau, a professional mime and actor with a career that spanned 60 years.
Now it's very simple to find the perfect gift for anyone on your list, even yourself. The world's simplest camera, the Polaroid 1000. Just press the button. The motor hands you a present, An SX70 picture as bright and colorful as Christmas itself. A moment you can relive just minutes after it happens. Only $30. The world's simplest way to say Merry Christmas. The Polaroid 1000. Now there's a very simple way to brighten anyone's Christmas. Give the world's simplest camera, the Polaroid 1000. Just press the button for instant SX70 pictures as bright and colorful as Christmas itself. Just $30. The world's simplest way to say Merry Christmas. The Polaroid 1000.
As you can see, these were promoted in Europe under the 1000 land camera name rather than as a one-step. This is one of the most popular models Polaroid ever made. It was the inspiration for one of Instagram's original logos and has made a revival in the form of the One Step 2, Polaroid's new I-type cameras. Because so many were made and because the battery was in the film pack, not to mention their simplicity, many have survived to be used decades later.
Well, looks like we got a plaid hat set and Mom got a Spectra camera.
This holiday season, give the only gift that lets you hold the picture in your hand while you still hold the feeling in your heart. The Polaroid Spectra system.
So for Mom's way ahead.
Introduced in 1986 was the Polaroid Spectra system, which featured a rectangular-shaped image and what was considered by many to be better quality cameras. The film was basically the same as the 600 series, other than the shape. The current manufacturers of Polaroid stopped making Spectra film in just the last couple of years, which is a shame. Hopefully they bring it back someday. Jumping ahead to the 1990s, Polaroid was easily a household name by now. Another household name was Sinbad. I've mentioned him on my channel before on my video, Celebrities Selling Polaroid, and he was promoting the now discontinued Captiva, but here he's trying to sell us the Polaroid talking camera. A gimmick really that allows you to record a short message to play back before you take the photo. Let's take a look.
Yo, Sinbad here with the best thing under the tree. Polaroid talking cameras. It's gonna help me find a smile in my main man, Ebenezer. Humbug. Whoo! Watch this. Scrooge, there was money in that box. Nonsense. Scrooge, there was money in that box. Now you're talking my language. See, it even makes a Scrooge smile. I lied about the money in the box. The Polaroid talking camera. Instant smiles.
I happen to have one of these flash-in-the-pan cameras right here, and basically how it works is this. There are these switches at the top. Turn the arrow this way for pre-recorded messages, and flip the switch this way to record your own messages. Hold the record button and speak into the camera. This camera is a hot pile of garbage. This camera is a hot pile of garbage. You can record up to 3 messages, and you half-press the shutter to activate the recording. The pre-recorded messages are very, very cringy.
Did you see scores?
Yo-ho! It's picture time!
Allô, allô, montre tes dents!
The big fault of this camera, and possibly its undoing, is the recorder runs on the battery of the film pack. If you manage to drain the battery trying to record the perfect message, you won't be able to use the rest of your film. While this may not have been exactly where Polaroid jumped the shark, it was certainly sailing over it at this point. This wouldn't be their last mistake either.
Ready for your picture with my new Polaroid Captiva? Smile!
Where's the picture?
Oh, come on, you get down now.
I want my
picture.
The new Polaroid Captiva. It stores its pocket-sized pictures till you take them out. So pick one up for the holidays.
The Captiva took smaller instant photos and held onto them while you were able to keep shooting. Not surprisingly, this novelty was also a flop. This format is no longer available, with zero plans of being reintroduced. By the 1990s, you can imagine there were plenty of random Polaroids lying around people's homes. Unlike Kodak, which seemed to have a different format every couple of years that required its own camera, Polaroid film stayed fairly consistent. The cameras were also simple, which meant little chance to break. For the most part, you had peel-apart the 600 systems and the SX70 cameras. Because of that, it was likely Polaroid sold fewer and fewer cameras, and these attempts in the 90s to innovate ended up looking more like a cry for help. Sometimes they were self-aware of that fact and didn't promote any particular camera at all, as seen in this ad.
Dear Santa, I want a Fighting Frankie action figure, but not Fighting Frankie. I want the bad guy with a laser and reversible face, but not the bad guy with a laser. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Horse! Dear Santa, I want a Fighting Frankie action figure.
Another horse?
Here, this will help.
Get a Polaroid one-step camera for under $25, and maybe you'll get what you want this year.
It's hard to blame Polaroid though for creating a product that just worked. A self-contained image that developed in minutes, and simple cameras a child could use. Many of us are aware of Polaroid's bankruptcy and eventual revival through the Impossible Project, and it's hard to pinpoint any single reason for their decline. The 1-hour photo and digital cameras probably played a major role. I also happen to think they engineered themselves into a corner with nowhere to innovate. But did Polaroid really save Christmas? I guess it depends who you ask. Boomers? For sure. Baby boomers enjoyed the golden age of Polaroid, and many still have those memories tucked away in shoeboxes and photo albums. Generation X? Somewhat at least. As a card-carrying member of Generation X, I can tell you a few of my childhood milestones were captured on Polaroid. Beyond that, a Polaroid camera was less of a centerpiece at Christmas dinner and more of a novelty taken out of the attic and dusted off a couple of times per year. Regardless, Polaroid photos represent Christmas of the late 20th century as much as anything else. Even today, with all the incredible technology at our disposal, a Polaroid photo feels a little magical, much like the holidays. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed this edition of TOC Extra, and also be sure to check out last year's video, How Kodak Ruined Christmas. Just a quick note to my viewers as well that I'll be taking the rest of the year off from making videos. I'll be back the first week of January, so Happy New Year and I'll see you soon. If you like what I do around here, perhaps you'll consider joining me on Patreon. Starting at the $5 level, you'll receive your name in the credits, as well as early access. Higher level perks include free prints. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and until next time, stay classic.